Hey everyone, welcome back to Breakthrough Innovation, where we uncover what it takes to really lead change, create value, and build what's next. I'm JL Heather, one of the co founders of Centered, a firm that helps organizations navigate complexity, spark creativity, and unlock the full potentials of their teams through innovation coaching and strategy. Now, most companies are building AI powered consumer products, they're racing to ship features. Very few are asking whether their data is good enough to make those features trustworthy, especially when the product touches someone's health. Now, that gap between AI capability and real world reliability is where billions of dollars in health technology investment go to die. And it's a gap that widens when users on the other end are teenagers and young adults who have never known a world without screens. Dr. Akvile Ignotaite is a data scientist and the founder of System Akvile, an AI powered skin health platform used by over 1 million people in more than 100 companies. She's built a proprietary longitudinal data set, scaled a consumer health product into markets from Europe to India to Southeast Asia, and turned a TikTok pimple character, Pimsy, into a 70,000 follower growth engine, all while keeping data integrity at the center of every decision. In this episode, she breaks down what most founders get wrong when applying AI to health, why structured product programs fail with younger users, and what it actually takes to build technology that works in real life, not just a pitch deck. Akvila, I'm really excited to have this conversation. I spent some time before the show watching some things from Pimsy, and I think my teenager would really engage with that. I really love the whole idea, the concept. So I'm really glad you had the time to sit down and chat.
Perfect. Looking forward. And Pimsy is such a love project for us. Like I always say, never fall in love with your own products because somehow you lose the critical eye. But like Pimsy is like, I just cannot.
No, it's perfect. I think it's just it strikes a really good balance of solid information with engaging look, feel, tone, all that sort of stuff. So I think it's really great. And I think it's interesting, like it's part of this AI powered health platform that you have, which if I remember right, you said it's being used by over 1 million people now. I think when I pulled the data, it was 800,000. Now you're over 1 million. Like it's just growing so fast. I'm curious, what's the single biggest gap you see between how companies talk about AI and health technology and then what actually happens once that product is live with real users?
It's exactly, I always say, when reality hits you in the face. Like, it's the one thing when you work in lab settings, when you work in really perfect environment, and when you have your team, data scientists, like people who studied health or something, and when you have like a consumer is is someone else. Consumer is maybe someone who uses the product very quickly, and and doesn't have the same knowledge level, has completely different motivation for using the product. So even the compliance part, like how we use the product changes so fast. And then you have this reality that doesn't fit the perfect strategy anymore. And it's always, thinking who is the end consumer at the end. Because for us it was like, our consumer are very young, Gen Z
Yeah.
and Gen Alpha, and we did so many iterations how to onboard them in the app, and then Pimsy, and all the things like just adding emojis and making it more simple. It was like almost like a game changing, in
Yeah.
even in the onboarding process in the app, like adding emojis,
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah. I mean, it makes a difference, right? You got to speak their language. I think it was when you're talking, the thing that came up for me, it's a quote. I think it's from Mike Tyson, the boxer and from the US. And I think it goes something like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
exactly.
And I know so many executives that put their product out there and keep getting punched in the face over and over and over again. And you kind of had that happen to you, as I understand it, because you had some structured 6 and 8 week skincare programs that Gen Z rejected initially. So many executives would just keep leaning into that punch, trying to iterate on it to find the right thing, but you actually decided that the format was the problem, not the content. What led that decision? Like, how did you get there?
Exactly, that was the first idea having in the app the 6-week program. We worked with a scientist, we worked with dermatologists, we worked with nutrition experts, we worked with a lot of experts and professors to make this happen. Because in skin health, you need like routine and you need consistency and how skin works, and you see the first results in 6 weeks. So on paper, in theory, it made sense. In reality, try to keep a teenager to do something for 6 weeks, like,
Yeah.
literally. And I was, like, sitting in the car driving with my mom, and my mom is psychologist, she works with teenagers. And then she was like, "Akvile, I showed your app to a couple of my kids who are coming to the therapy, who have skin issues." And we looked at it and said, wow, like do not feel enough smart to use the app. Like it's too advanced, it's just too smart for me. And she was
Yeah.
like, are you building a banking app? Are you into finance now? Like, have you ever saw like how the teenagers behave? Like, and it was like a drive for 4 hours, and she was
Oh
sitting
my.
next to me, and literally, and I was like, "No, mom, you don't understand the science, and you work with experts and etc." And she was like, "I don't care about your experts. Go on TikTok and see, how kids behave. Why you not on TikTok? Like, I don't
Mm,
understand. If you want to build a product for teenagers, you need to be like a teenager." That's it. And I was so angry with my mom. She was driving me nuts. And then, I started thinking, that I was not so angry anymore. And I was like, actually, she's right. If we want
yeah,
to engage them, we need to be on the eye level, because if we speak from above, like authority, like, parents or something not cool, it will not work.
absolutely. I think so. There's a book out there. It's called The Mom Test, and I'm blanking on who wrote it now. But your interaction with your mom made me think of it. And it's a really good analogy because a lot of what it talks about is how do you actually get feedback from your customers, from people who care about you, from anyone, uh, without them lying to you with the best of intentions, right? Like most of if you just walk up to someone and say, "Hey, I have this idea. What do you think?" They're probably going to sugarcoat their answer. I think you were lucky that you have a mother that didn't sugarcoat her answer and kind
Never.
of helped you kind of see the truth. And I love that. Um, Once you did start to digest what she had to say, like, how did you turn that into action?
Like immediately, I was like to my team, we need to kill this 6-week program. It will not work. Like, we can go with a head through the wall. It will not work because, you cannot change how generations live and how they think. So we need to adapt to this. If we want to change something, if we want to keep the product, the retention, we need to adapt the product. Because
Yeah,
science is one part, but data at the end of the day never lies. If you do not
right.
have a retention, so it's no matter what, dermatologists and scientists are telling, people are not sticking to these 6-week programs, or you
Right.
need to motivate them extremely. But like,
Yeah.
how to do this. So we basically killed this, and another insights what we are seeing now, coming from TikTok through Pimsy, that many kids are now into gaming, like from
Yeah.
65 percentage from users what we get through TikTok, into gaming. Like the first interest, like what you see on TikTok data is gaming. And I told to my team, hey, we have this to-do list in the app. Let's change it. Let's move into this gaming mindset.
Yeah.
And as Pimsy has gaming vibe as well a little bit. So let's move to this, because if we want to keep them engaged, we need to be, you know, what feels cool for them, and not like, oh, they want to teach me something.
Well, and so you're doing this across some pretty wide ranging geographies too. So like Europe, India, Southeast Asia. Are you in the US? as well?
In the US, and we added now Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa as well. In Middle East as well. Actually, we are growing worldwide, but we have like
Wow.
these hotspots for us. Yeah.
So, across all those cultures, there's a lot of different cultural sensitivities to be aware of and to navigate. How are you helping your team, like, make this change, make this shift, and go down this path with the speed they need to, while still kinda maintaining that cultural sensitivity in each area?
I would say we are a little bit lucky with Gen Z are so global in general because when I was in India and I saw the girls in Bangalore and the street, Gen Z girls, crop tops and, doing selfies, I was like, wow, Gen Z in Europe with Gen Z in India, same because how the trends move. So we are quite similar in the mindset, but as well, for the cultural background, we have some guardrails, like why we do not give any recommendation on skincare ingredients in general,
Mm,
because if someone is using Ayurvedic products, we don't
right,
want to use Western science to say, your approach is not right. So we have some guardrails as well. And because the team is so international, so it's really easy to talk to them and say, hey,
mm,
are we stepping into wrong direction? Is it still
right,
cool? Are we gender neutral, culture neutral, everything? Are we moving into some directions already? So that helps a lot, and really being extremely open-minded and learning from the data. What we see, now growing in Africa, we thought, okay, how we can learn about African skincare culture already, so we do not, you know, say something wrong, what is maybe, in that region quite normal.
right. Well, and that highlights, so I know in the US right now, diversity is a contentious topic to some extent when I don't think it should be. I think this is a really good illustration about how powerful diversity within an organization can be. Because what I hear you saying is part of the reason that the cultural sensitivities, the cultural diversity was not a problem for your product was because you had that same diversity within your organization.
Exactly, but I think it's my background as well because I come from Lithuania, from the Baltics. It's very, very
Mm,
small country, 2.9 million people. So I have a little bit different approach because we are so small. So,
right.
we learn to be very open-minded as well. So for me, it's, I think, a little bit easier to have this very broad approach because I come from very, very small country. But I think,
Yeah.
now I live in Germany, so I see the same and people start thinking very centric, German based, America based, and then exporting products from there. But we work with skin health, and I think skin is the most racially dividing topic what we have, white, black, and etc. And if you train your data just on certain data sets,
Mm,
like, how do you want to build a global product later? It won't be possible. So from day zero for us, it was clear we need to be global just to
right.
have this global data set.
No, and that's brilliant. I think personally, I probably don't take care of my own skin well enough, let alone know anything about how other people should take care of theirs. But I think that's a really great perspective. And I think it's something, when we talk about anything from Pimsy, the character, to the skincare programs you're talking about, starting with that global mindset is probably a big part of your success.
I think as well that is one of the part, and India grounded me a lot because when I
Mm,
went to India the first time, I was seeing all these news in Western media, and everyone was telling me, "Oh, why are you going to India? Are you crazy? Oh, it will be so terrible. Don't eat this, don't do that." And I went to India to Bangalore, and the airport is better than in Hamburg, and people were so open, and all of the tech I saw, and booming. Everyone is doing so many things, and like it really impressed me. And going
Yeah.
to the dermatologist in India, talking to them, or going to Ayurvedic doctors. And my mentor took me to Ayurvedic doctor, and I was like literally giggling, sitting in the office, and I was like, from a data scientist perspective, it's like, what kind of voodoo is this? And she was like, Aquila, why are you behaving like this? We have Ayurveda for 2000 years. How
Yeah.
long is Western medicine? 80% of Indians believe in Ayurveda. Like, what's the issue? I
Yeah.
came back and told to my team we need to include Ayurveda in the app. We need to onboard Ayurvedic doctors because I
Yeah.
was wrong.
And
So
just those 3 words, "I was wrong," are really powerful. I was about to say I could count on one hand, and that's probably too dramatic, but it's very few executives that I've worked with are willing to say those 3 words. And I think it's great because not only are you dealing with the different cultures, you're dealing with different generations. And I think maybe the most interesting part for all of this right now, given that I have a teenager at home and a 10-year-old at home, and I see how they interact with things, you know, they seem to evaluate trust more based on the speed at which the information gets to them and then the accuracy of the information. Like, very rarely do they ever care about the credentials. When you think about that perspective, what is that telling you about how industries, not just healthcare, need to rethink the way they build products for Gen Alpha, for even earlier generations, the next generation?
exactly. I had my investors meeting on Monday. Some came from the US, and like some are like top ex executives from Fortune companies and all these things. And I was showing two slides. One video with me, doctor, founder, and what kind of comments I get under my reels, like, "Hi, bye, you're so cute." And another reel from Pimsy, where people are asking, "Hey, can you help with my skin? I have these and these problems." And I was like, we have Dr. Greg on board, dermatologist. We work with Dr. Stefan Barth, who has 30 years experience. We post big content. Nobody engages. And these
Mm,
people literally have credentials. And we post Pimsy, like nobody actually knows, is it real person even behind Pimsy,
right.
because we didn't advertise like who are the people behind Pimsy. And people ask like very serious questions about their health. And it literally shows how it shifted, that your credentials do not matter anymore if you're not able to communicate in the right way. And Pimsy is literally cartoon, like animation. Someone is doing this. We are shipping each day content, and people are asking, like, I have pimples. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm on
Right.
contraceptive pill. I got, breakouts, really intimate questions online,
Yeah.
under Pimsy's post. And I was like, you need to understand how it's shifting, like
Right.
this mindset, because if you do not understand how to talk to people online, you know, nobody cares that you have credentials. That's why we have this misinformation in health. So, all influencers are coming and talking crazy things without credentials. And, everyone is like, from healthcare, oh my God, how can we do this? Yeah, because
Yeah.
they talk the language most people understand.
When we were talking before the show about, that idea of, something will fill the void, something will fill the vacuum. As a father, I'm constantly worried that my children are finding something that sounds very legitimate and following that information not ever checking the credentials, not ever understanding that the person behind that might not know what they're talking about. So one, I love that you found one of these vacuums, one of these spaces, and you're filling it with qualified information. But how do you manage, like, how do you manage the next person that comes along that's providing less qualified information? Or what do you recommend for companies to do to kind of get into this space and to be heard? Because I think sometimes the people giving the wrong information are more attractive because it's easier, it's more in line with what someone wants to hear. Like, how do you break through that?
And it's exactly when I talk to executives from top companies and they tell me, "Oh, I don't even have a TikTok account." I was
Yeah.
like, how do you want to reach, this audience if you don't know how they behave, what's moving them? Like, you have to go and look. Like, I sit each day, like, I write Pimsy scripts because for me, it's a cultural, I mean, TikTok cultural experiment as
Mhm.
well to really understand how the audience is moving. And it's for any executive, I think, especially in health, you need to be where the people are. Because if you're like, sitting in your golden tower and, without any clue how the reality is moving, someone will come and, talk the language, talks what they understand, and
Mhm.
etc. And know when to fix and move around and say, no, 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 this is wrong. Will be very, very difficult. And I think we see now why more politicians are now on social media. Because if they are not on social media, someone will come. And now, like, more doctors are moving on social media because we see if nobody is fixing the information, like, you know, these crazy things will keep spreading.
Yeah. Mm. No, I would love to dig into this more. Unfortunately, we do have to start wrapping up. I'm curious if someone does want to have a conversation with you about what you're doing, about Pimsy, about how you're reaching Gen Alpha and other generations across all these countries. What's the best way for them to get into contact with you?
The best way is to talk to me on LinkedIn. They can come on social media, on Instagram as well. Follow Pimsy on TikTok. Like, ask Pimsy some questions. Like,
Yeah.
anyway works.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's get Pimsy up to 100,000 followers. I think that'd be a great one. For everyone else who's listening, one, thank you all for staying here till the end. While you're down there leaving that 5-star review, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Go out there, check out Pimsy, and let us know what you think. And if you know anyone who is struggling to reach Gen Alpha, who is struggling to manage some of those cross cultural issues, introduce them to Akvile and share this episode. Akvile, thank you again so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to do this Gen Z thing.
Wait, no, that's not how they do it. It's like,
I
no, I'm gonna embarrass myself.
think
There
I
we
think
go,
we
yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation.
It was really awesome. Thank you.